Regen program, and he is responsible for the exploration of the therapeutic advocacy and service promotion opportunities provided by social media for his group, and he's a keen advocate for evidence-based treatment and consumer participation. So please go ahead, Paul.
All right, I'll try and be snappy.
Yes,
it's great to be welcome to Gadigal. By way of context, social media practice is something we've been interested in for a while. In 2010, former colleague of ours, Ray Stevens, did a survey of Victorian AOD sector practice and looking at organisational obstacles to social media practice by AOD workers. In 2013, we did an online survey with consumers looking at some of their practice, and now this year we decided to revisit both populations and see what's happening, what's changed. This obviously a reasonably small sample size from our staff survey, but the next couple of slides apply pretty much, the findings apply both to our staff group and to our consumers. We did an online survey with our staff, and we ran a workshop with our consumers. In terms of which social media networks people are active on, obviously there's a bit of a range, but Facebook is, everyone's on Facebook. In terms of which one do they use most, it's Facebook. It's not cutting edge, it's not what the cool kids are doing, but it's where people are. It's where our staff are, it's where our clients are, and chances are yours too. It's understandable that Facebook is a platform where we have most of our interactions with both staff and clients. The key themes from the staff survey: privacy, and this is also for consumers as well. The negative experiences that staff had were relating to unwelcome contact from current or former clients. And while it was a very small proportion of people who that had happened to, the impact was significant on them. And that was really what, and Manning Data reports that was what prompted us to do the survey in the first place. What was encouraging was that staff really clearly were able to articulate that our clinical systems and so for our social media policy, our supervision systems, that was how people were able to frame their responses to that contact, and they were able to follow it up through clinical supervision. And I guess that's what we want. We want, in what we've been doing in the social media field, we want our clinicians to see that their social media practice is an extension of their clinical practice. And probably the other key thing is needing to pay greater attention to the use of social media by the people who use our services. And this was something that was raised both by staff who don't use social media but have noticed this as an issue that's been coming up in their in counselling sessions, and people who are active online. For the consumer workshop, privacy again, and recognising that staff have the right to privacy as well, and that was a pretty clear thing. Some of the positives, or some of the reasons that consumers did list as using social media: for entertainment, for self-education, for recovery support, so both sharing information and recovery strategies, relapse prevention strategies, developing support networks, maintaining social connections, and making new contacts, which is all pretty familiar stuff. Some of the negatives that they identified was that it's time consuming, and this is something that came up through our staff as well, that people were spending an inordinate amount of time on social media, and that was interfering with other things. Jealousy and depression was one issue, so seeing people's perfect lives that they're posting and thinking, why is my life like that, and that being a trigger. And in particular in Facebook, Facebook's recent habit of posting photos from 2 or 3 years ago, or what was happening in your life, that's a bit of an issue as well. And unwanted contact, but with our consumers it was mainly by employers wanting to be your Facebook friend. In terms of what we're doing next, we're looking at, and this is based on the feedback some of the feedback from our consumers, we're looking at reviewing our social media policy, practice guidelines for staff, and looking at how we can more integrate social media practice into our clinical practice. We're looking to roll out the staff survey to the wider AOD sector. We also need to get ethics approval for that, and we're sharing our resources and policies with the sector, what we've learned, and with consumers. Consumers asked us to do a similar survey for them, so we'll be doing that too once we've got ethics approval. We're currently developing we're developing a set of safe practice guidelines for consumers, and we're developing that now. Acknowledging Con, you might have met him yesterday. He presented our consumer participation poster. He co-developed and delivered the workshop with consumers. So please contact me. Email, slides on SlideShare. If you contact us through any of our social accounts, you'll get me. Happy to answer a question.
So we can friend you on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Susie, your question?
Thanks for that, Paul. I thought it was really interesting. I'm wondering, just in terms of, we have a big problem in New South Wales doing follow-up outcome data collection. So, you know, we're great at getting that first point of data collection and then it just sort of drops away quite poorly. Do you think that potentially, or there's good potential through Facebook to maybe provide opportunity for clients to give us some outcome, like some collecting outcome data on how they're going?
Yeah, consent is obviously a big issue there,
Yeah.
and there's a bit of research done, I think it's by Origin and Young and Well, a couple of years ago with young people in mental health treatment, and they expressed a pretty clear interest. They didn't want to be stalked by their workers on their social media accounts.
Sure.
So it's really an opt-in scenario. Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky.
There's possibilities, but it's tricky. But chances are, if people are posting, then they're providing their own case notes as they go, and you know, we've been able to observe that with some of our clients.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much. Thank you for keeping to time. That was very interesting. Thank you. And I'd now like to introduce